I think I'm dead. Or maybe I'm about to be. I'm currently sitting in my kitchen, staring at a door that wasn't here this morning. It's tucked behind my refrigerator, hidden in the drywall like a secret nobody was ever supposed to find. But the worst part isn't the door itself. It's the sound of someone crying on the other side. Someone who sounds exactly like me. If you're watching this, and you live in an apartment where the walls feel just a little too thick, please stop what you're doing. Go to your kitchen and listen. It started with a leak. Just a small, rhythmic drip, drip, drip behind a fridge that was driving me crazy. I live in one of those luxury apartment complexes, which is just code for thin walls and cheap flooring. These units are identical boxes stacked on top of each other. There shouldn't be any dead space. But when I pulled the fridge back to find the source of the water, the wallpaper was peeling. I touched it, and the wood underneath felt hollow. Not just hollow cold. I grabbed a hammer. I didn't think. I just swung. I expected copper pipes or pink insulation. Instead, the wall just crumbled. Behind the drywall was a heavy oak door with a tarnished brass handle. It looked 100 years older than the rest of the building. I stood there for a long time. My heart was hammering against my ribs so hard it hurt. I live alone, but for the first time in 3 years, I felt like I wasn't the only person in the room. I reached out, and I turned the handle. The door didn't creak. It swung open with a heavy, oily silence. I stepped inside, expecting a closet or a crawl space. But it wasn't. It was my living room. I don't mean it looked like a living room. I mean it was my living room. The same IKEA rug with a coffee stain from last Tuesday. The same stack of unread mail on the table. Even the same smell of stale cinnamon and laundry detergent. I stood there, paralyzed. I looked back through the hole I'd made. I could see my real kitchen, the fridge pulled out, the hammer on the floor. Then I looked back into the secret room. It was an exact replica, but something was off. The lighting was different. Outside the window of the secret room, it was pitch black. But in my kitchen, the sun was still setting. I walked over to the coffee table. I picked up an envelope. It was a power bill. My name was on it, but the postmark was dated for tomorrow. I heard noise. A heavy thud coming from the bedroom of the secret apartment. I froze. I shouldn't be in here. This felt like breaking a law of physics. I crept toward the bedroom door, my breath hitching in my throat. I pushed it open just an inch. I saw myself. I was sitting on the edge of the bed, head in my hands. I looked exhausted. I watched as other me stood up and walked toward the window. He looked out at the street, his face pale and terrified. Then, he looked at his watch. He picked up a phone, and he dialed a number. My pocket vibrated. I nearly screamed. I lunged back into the kitchen, scrambling through the hole in the wall. I fell onto the linoleum, gasping for air. My phone was still shaking. I pulled it out. Unknown caller. I didn't answer. I just watched the hole in the wall. The room on the other side wasn't just a replica. It was the future. Exactly 1 hour of it. I tried to cover the hole. I pushed the fridge back, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I saw. If that room shows me what happens in an hour, can I change it? It was 4:15 p.m. In the hidden room, it was already 5:15. I decided to test the rules of this place. I took a red marker and drew a large X on my left palm. I waited. An hour passed. At 5:15, I felt a strange, magnetic pull toward the fridge. I didn't want to go, but I had to know. I pulled the fridge out again and stepped through the door. I was in the room. I looked at my hand. There was the red X. Everything I did in the real world was reflected here exactly 60 minutes later. It was a perfect loop. But then I noticed something new. In this version of the room, the front door was wide open, and there were muddy footprints leading from the hallway into my kitchen. Footprints that didn't belong to me. I followed the tracks. They were large, heavy-set prints. They stopped right in front of the hidden door, the one I was currently standing in. My stomach did a somersault. If the footprints are here now, it means someone enters my apartment at 6:30 p.m. I looked at my watch. It was 5:40. I had 50 minutes before someone walked through my front door. I ran back to my real kitchen. I locked the deadbolt. I pushed a heavy chair under the handle. I grabbed a kitchen knife and sat on the floor, staring at the entrance. I was going to break the cycle. I was going to stop the footprints from happening. The minutes ticked by like hours. 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:25. I gripped the knife so hard my knuckles turned white. 6:30 arrived. Silence. Nothing happened. No one knocked. No one tried the handle. I started to laugh. It was a manic, shaky sound. I had beaten it. The hidden room was just a possibility, not a certainty. I stood up to go to the kitchen for a drink of water. That's when I heard it. A soft thud from inside the wall. The sound didn't come from my front door. It came from the hidden room. I realized with a jolt of horror that I had left the oak door open. I slowly moved the fridge. I peered through the hole. In the future room, the other me was gone. The bedroom door was smashed off its hinges. The kitchen was trashed. And there, standing in the middle of the replica living room, was a man. He was tall, wearing a heavy dark coat, and he was holding the same kitchen knife I had in my hand. He wasn't looking at the other me. He was looking at the hole in the wall. He was looking directly at me. He smiled. It wasn't a human smile. It was too wide. He started walking toward the hole. He wasn't waiting for the future. He was coming through the door from the other side. He was moving from the future into the present. I tried to push the fridge back, but a hand slammed against the other side. A hand with a red X drawn on the palm. I froze. I looked down at my own hand. The marker was gone. I hadn't washed it off. It had just vanished. The man in the coat didn't have my face, but he had my mark. He pushed the fridge aside like it was made of cardboard. I scrambled backward, tripping over the chair I'd used to bar the door. I'm looking at the oak door now. The man is gone, but the door is still open. I can hear the heavy, muddy footsteps circling my bed in the other room. I have exactly 60 minutes before I have to pick up that knife. I have 60 minutes to figure out how to become the monster I just saw. Because if I don't think there will be a tomorrow for me to walk into.